Welcome back, traveler. Why don't you sit back, grab a skooma, and let my Khajit tell you a tale. Let me tell you more about the hermit in the mountains. Let this one tell you his tale. It was a time of great chaos, when the gates of oblivion opened across Tamriel, spilling forth horrors from the Deadlands. The skies burned red, and the ground trembled beneath Daedric feet. But let us not begin with fire and ash. We shall start in Morrowind, where Azer's story begins. Azer was born among the Ashlanders, the nomads who roamed the unforgiving volcanic terrain of Vardenfell. The Ashlands were a brutal place, where ash storms raged, rivers of lava carved the land, and survival required both cunning and resilience. The Ashlanders endured, bound by traditions that predated even the great houses of Morrowind. They revered their ancestors and the Daedra in equal measure, believing that strength came from honoring both the past and the divine. Azer's tribe was small but proud, living in Guarhide yurts near the grazelands where the Asher and desolation gave way to sparse grasslands. They subsisted on the hunt, tracking wild nixhounds and gathering luminous trauma roots that glowed faintly in the dark. Azer, however, was no hunter, even as a boy. He shied away from the harsh realities of survival, drawn instead to the campfire tales of the wise woman. She spoke of legendary heroes who communed with the Daedra, gaining their favor and wielding gifts that could shape the world. Azer listened intently, his young heart swelled with the dreams of such power. But the dreams turned to nightmares when the blight came. Digother's corruption spread across the land, carried by foul winds from Red Mountain. The disease twisted both beast and mer into monstrous abominations, and Azer's tribe, isolated and lacking the means to protect themselves, fell victim to its horrors. One by one, the members of Azer's tribe succumbed. The sickness brought fever and madness, leaving bodies withered and unrecognizable. Azer's parents, once the pillars of his world, were among the first to show signs of infection. As his parents weakened, Azer was consumed by fear and desperation. The wise woman's stories of Daedric intervention filled his mind, and in his youthful naivety, he believed there might be a way to save himself. Late one night, while the tribe slumbered fitfully, Azer crept from his yurt to the outskirts of their camp, where an ancient weathered shrine to Mafala lay hidden amongst the rocks. There, between the flickering light of the twin moons filtered through the ash-choked skies, Azer performed a crude, half-remembered ritual. He whispered to the Daedra, begging for their guidance, for their power, for salvation from the horrors of the blight. The air grew heavy, the shadows deepened, and a voice answered. A voice as smooth as silk and as cold as steel. It promised him survival, but at a cost. The terms were clear. The power he sought could only be bought with a life. No. Multiple lives. Azer hesitated, but a voice whispered insidiously, fanning the flames of his desperation. They are already doomed, it said. Save yourself. Prove you are worthy. The tears streaming down his face, Azer returned to his parents' bedside. In the dim light of the dying campfire, he made his choice. He took their lives with a trembling hand and offered them to the Daedra. The ritual completed, Azer felt a rush of energy unlike anything he had ever known. For a fleeting moment, he believed he had been spared. But when he returned to the camp, the remaining members of his tribe recoiled from him, their faces twisted with horror and disgust. They knew. Somehow, they knew. Azer's newfound power was not enough to save the tribe. The blight continued to ravage them, and the survivors fled into the wilderness, leaving Azer alone among the ashes of his people. The Daedric Pact had not saved him from despair. It had only ensured his isolation. When the Nerevarn vanquished Dagoth and ended the blight, it was already too late for Azer's tribe. He was alone, a boy with no family, no home, and no one to guide him. But within him burned a resolve as fierce as the flames of Red Mountain. He had tasted the bitter price of weakness, and he vowed that he would never again be powerless. The whispers of the Daedra lingered in his mind, a constant reminder of the pact he made. They spoke more of power waiting to be claimed, of secrets hidden in the forgotten corners of Tamriel. Azer's resolve hardened into ambition, and his path into darkness began to take shape. Well, traveler, did you enjoy Mahik's story? If you did, make sure you come back. Mahik has more to tell. Azer's story is not yet finished. So until next time, Mahik says goodbye and take care.